Playtime Co. has created some of the most iconic toys during its time, toys that skyrocketed the company into the big leagues. But what about the toys that didn't make the cut? What about the rejected toys? Some are innocently fun, however others may have a darker side to them. So let's take a look at all of the other toys that didn't make it to the market. The very first toy is probably the most known and the funniest, this being Sir Poops-a-Lot. This interesting toy is a male cat with a facial expression that says, "Hey, I just pooped." He dresses in fancy attire, wearing a black suit, top hat, and wields a cane. His packaging has him sitting on a toilet, doing what his name implies. His box resembles a bathroom stall with purple tiled walls that are clearly in bad condition, being stained and worn down. There is also "Try Me" labeled on the box. Assuming we pull down his arm, he will do what his name suggests. The back of the packaging gives us a glimpse at his personality, reading, "No one tells a joke like a sir," then lists a few clever puns. "What's the best time to go to the bathroom? Who 30? I like toilets for 2 reasons, number 1 and number 2. Why did the toilet seat cry? She got dumped." I wonder if this toy was able to tell these jokes when pulling down its arm. However, there is no mention of him being able to speak. I think it's clear that Sir Poops-a-Lot was a lighthearted character with a funny personality, making light of what he is always doing. But of course this toy was rejected. The reasoning was because of extremely negative reception from various focus groups, with a note from management saying whoever's idea this was should feel ashamed. People probably didn't like the idea of a toy that was always on the toilet, as it limits its playable factor. It's also probably not a good idea to picture going to the bathroom as a form of fun. The orientation notebook tells us that the designer that came up with this toy was in fact fired. Need a friend you can kick? Well, Playtime Co. almost made the perfect toy just for you. Kick Me Paul is an orange toy ball with a signature propeller hat. The only other attire he wears are his green shoes. He always has a smile on his face while also spreading his arms out wide. He appears to be made out of the same material a classic kickball is made out of, being heavy-duty nylon. This would make sense considering the concept behind this orange toy was that kids could hit or kick him, hence the name Kick Me Paul. You could say this toy was rejected for being contrary to Playtime Co.'s brand values, but the truth was, no one liked him. The person presenting this toy for retail was even laughed at during the meeting. Playtime Co. did not like the idea of incentivizing violence from their toys. They did not want kids beating up or kicking something related to their brand. It presented an unfriendly attitude for the kids. However, Kick Me Paul would then be resubmitted, but this time using a different name. Meet the new and improved Push Me Paul, although this toy would also be rejected. It was suggested to revise Paul's name to something ending with a Y. This is because names ending with a Y are more memorable and catchy. For example, Huggy Wuggy. The person writing on this forum is likely Jimmy Roth, as he encourages this criteria in his own unaffiliated interview. It was later revealed via sticky notes that any concepts or creations related to Kick Me Paul will be scrapped and destroyed. Next, we have a fan favorite, a toy that a lot of people have been wanting to see come to life in game, this being Daisy. We do see her in chapter 2, just not in her living form, and there is also a Stay Energized poster in chapter 3. Now, unlike the other rejected toys in Poppy Playtime, Daisy has her own cutout, voice lines, and collectibles. She is a scrapped antagonist for the musical memory game that was replaced by Bunzo Bunny, though she still appears in posters around the game. Her name was confirmed on a plaque found in Elliot Ludwig's office and in the credits for chapter 2. Daisy is a marionette in the form of a flower, marionette being a puppet controlled by strings. One important detail about her appearance are the extremely realistic eyes that are similar to Poppy's, hinting that Daisy could have been included in the Bigger Bodies initiative. This would make sense considering she was almost a part of the game station and, like I said, musical memory. But Daisy was just too scary for the young kids. During testing, she made them cry, so naturally she was rejected. Musical memory is supposed to be a fun test for the children. The last thing Playtime Co. wanted was for the kids to be scared. They would never knowingly design a toy to be frightening. However, as we know, these tests were quite the opposite, and would terrorize the children, causing them to have nightmares. Now, considering Daisy has already been added to some of Playtime Co.'s branding, hence why we see posters of her, they might try to revive the character in a less creepy form someday, as stated in the orientation notebook. Oh in the Oven was a kitchen play toy with a difference. Well, two differences. First, he had a lovable grumpy expression, but second and more importantly, he was a fully functioning oven with a top temperature of 400 degrees Fahrenheit. He could be used to bake small cakes, mini pizzas, cookies, and so much more. However, kids and extremely hot appliances do not mix well. He was a toy that was initially released to the public, although it was rolled back and rejected due to children experiencing third-degree burns after playing with the oven. Shocker, right? Playtime Co. did not want to deal with any more lawsuits than they already had. But it's interesting how Playtime Co. just threw some eyes on an oven and gave it a name, ultimately turning a dangerous appliance into a toy. It just goes to show how Playtime Co. might not keep children's safety in mind when producing their products. Looking for a flower that never dies? Meet Sunny Buddy, a toy flower wearing the most uninterested facial expression, including multicolored petals. This would give the uninterested toy a creative personality. The blueprint for a prototype version of Sunny Buddy can be found inside Elliot Ludwig's office. An interesting thing about this blueprint is that they were using bendable metal rods for its body, rather than just plastic. Metal rods is not very kid-friendly. However, the issue with the toy was that Playtime Co. never worked out what it was meant to do. It was just a flower with a face in a pot. It had no unique features or anything to make it stand out. So naturally, Playtime Co. scrapped the idea and moved on. It was implied that Sunny Buddy was Daisy before Daisy was revealed, although it was later revealed that Daisy was an entirely different character. However, this could suggest that Sunny Buddy could have planted the idea that led to Daisy. Surprise Hair is a toy that not many people know about. It resembles that of a bunny, having a teal or green oval shaped body with two big ears. There were also alternate versions of this toy. Different versions meant more sales. Surprise Hair was planned as a less expensive pocket money toy, something you could quickly purchase without having to think much about it because it was so cheap. In other words, leading to an impulse buy, something you see right before you check out of the store. It was designed to encourage collectibility with different colors and shapes. However, it fell out of favor when Playtime Co. pivoted to larger toys. The rejected reason was because there was not enough appeal to the design or name. Why buy a real pet when you can get your child a pet rock? They are way easier to take care of. The design team insisted that Pet Stone was a genius idea, but focus groups just thought it was some kind of joke. Pet Stone is a smooth, circular rock with two googly eyes. It doesn't serve any purpose other than just being a rock. The idea of a Pet Stone was shown to the focus group, which resulted in the company's management automatically rejecting it. It was pointless, not entertaining, and confusing. It was just a rock with eyes glued onto it, not something a kid would likely play with. With the massive success of Huggy Wuggy, Playtime Co. wanted to capitalize on it as much as they could, so they extended the Huggy brand with Barrel o' Huggies. These barrels of small elastic toys were intended to wrap together to create a chain of Huggies. Each barrel included 22 individual Huggies, chained them together in over 22 unique ways. Although, unfortunately, in testing they found that kids would mistake the Huggies for candies and try to eat them, creating a choking hazard. A shame, but the customer is always right. So the toy was rejected. Like I said before, Playtime Co. did not need any more lawsuits. We have never actually seen the orange robot toy, there is only the rejected paper. It's also interesting that this toy was not mentioned in the orientation notebook either. It was ultimately scrapped when the company decided to go with Mommy Longlegs instead, but whoever wrote on the page said that they actually like the orange robot toy. With that being said, it seemed to have elastic or flexible characteristics since it was proposed for the Playtime Co.'s stretch toy concept, meaning both the orange toy and Mommy Longlegs were the two frontrunners. Like I said, this toy makes no appearance, but we can assume it could look something like BoogieBot, but orange. Although that's just an assumption. We can assume it was also able to stretch to incredible length, just like Mommy Longlegs. But Playtime Co. probably liked the idea of having a more lovable character like Mommy Longlegs instead. Plus, they already had a robot toy, being BoogieBot. The Mommy Longlegs we know and love was not always so lovable. There were two previous versions of her that ended up getting rejected, Concept 1 and 2. The reasoning was because they were too freaky for the target demographic, meaning they were too scary for the kids. Also mentioning how the design needed a simpler color palette and a simpler body shape. Therefore, the other two concepts were probably a lot more spider-like, having more detail and a less friendly color palette. There are no official photos or drawings of these early concepts. However, there is part of a blueprint on the wall that might be giving us a look at one of the concepts. These make me wonder just how creepy the final versions might have looked. Lovebug, also known as Love Bugs, is a rejected toy where we only see the blueprint. She was a scrapped concept to be an antagonist for one of the Chapter 2 minigames, similar to PJ Pugapillar, Bunzo Bunny, or the Mini Huggies. Lovebug was a light green insect resembling a butterfly, also having ears and two legs, things a butterfly does not have. She has yellow wings with hearts on them, also with a crescent and heart on her stomach. Other than being a scrapped idea, there really is nothing else about this toy. Lovebug has never made it into the game as a character, therefore it never made it to the market. A toy concept similar to Lovebug was Petite Pooch, being another toy with just a blueprint. This is a purple dog with multicolored strips of fur. Petite's main theme seems to be hearts, as seen on her eyes, snout, and collar. Considering all of the hearts, this dog was likely centered around love and compassion, something most real dogs also provide. Again, there really isn't any information about this character besides the blueprint. However, before Petite Pooch came another dog toy. Love Dog is another interesting rejected toy created by Playtime Co., who has yet to make a debut in any chapter. Love Dog's only appearance is its model seen in the files of Chapter 2. It appears as a dull purple basset hound with black eyes, a large pink heart-shaped nose, and no mouth. It has a long body, short stubbly legs, and a pink tail. Considering the lack of detail, I don't think we will ever see this character again, but it is slightly similar to Petite Pooch, so it's implied that Love Dog was an early concept of the Pooch. Now, there is also a rejected page about retail shipment 018345, how the whole shipment was rejected. It reads, "The entire batch of toys is miscolored due to Patty Hall sabotaging the painting machine." It also notes that Patty had been dealt with. So who is Patty? She was a Playtime Co. toy designer that ended up getting disciplined for sabotaging the production of toys by giving them unusual and false coloring, like I just mentioned. Thanks to Rowenstahl's computer database, a document shows the details and aftermath of Patty Hall being caught. The notice of disciplinary action reads, "Employee intentionally sabotaged factory equipment, in particular a paint machine. The employee mismatched 57 paint canisters, resulting in an extraordinary amount of toys no longer being suitable for retail. Retail shipment 018345 was recalled, resulting in a significant amount of lost revenue. revenue, as well as damaging Playtime Co.'s brand image among several major retailers. There is substantial evidence supporting the assumption that this sabotage was done in some sort of defiance to several of Playtime Co.'s practices. Effective immediately, employee is demoted from toy designer and will be sent downstairs to storage B to receive further instructions. The reason Patty sabotaged the toys is unknown, but it's possible that she did it out of bitterness. Playtime Co. has a history of treating their employees poorly. It's possible that Patty was a victim to this mistreatment and decided to act out. I would say she was lucky that Playtime Co. did not discipline her in a different way. The last rejection paper has tic-tac-toe played on it. It has 3 rounds, however the last round was played unfairly, as the person with the circles pretended they won. The ironic part is that no matter what, they could have won, as there were 2 other possible slots the person could have gone with instead of cheating. But it's interesting that this was included. Obviously there isn't a tic-tac-toe toy. I mean, maybe there could be one in the future, but I think this is showing something else. Considering the last game was won unfairly, it's possible that these tic-tac-toe games were done by kids just trying to have fun, or maybe the living toys were taking part. But who knows what this really means? I'll let you decide. That was all of the rejected and unused toys of Playtime Co. and Poppy Playtime. There is a lot, and I'm sure there is even more that we just haven't learned about yet. And if I did miss any, let me know what ones. Which rejected toy is your favorite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you like horror game content like this, please consider subscribing. Also, if you want to support the channel more, you can become a member. Don't forget to follow my Twitter at TerrifiedT. Thanks for watching.